What if I told you that right beneath your feet exists a world you were never meant to find? We spend our entire lives looking up at the sky, at the stars. But the biggest secret in human history isn't above us. It's buried below. Ancient texts mention hidden passages, escape routes built for catastrophes we can't imagine, places where rituals were performed in total darkness, where empires locked away their deepest secrets. A Turkish city where 20,000 people lived completely underground. American legends of civilizations that descended into the earth to simulate the afterlife. And an Andean complex designed to chemically alter the human mind using nothing but stone and sound. 3 different places. One terrifying truth. Humans have always hidden their most important secrets underground. What's really down there? And who's still keeping us from finding out? Welcome back to the Silent Depth. What you're about to hear will change how you see the ground beneath you. Because the first solid proof of a hidden underground world appeared in the 1960s, and it wasn't discovered by archaeologists. It was found by accident. Turkey, Cappadocia region. 1963, a man is renovating his basement. He knocks down a wall, expecting to find foundation stone. Instead, he finds a tunnel. He grabs a flashlight and steps inside. The tunnel splits into multiple passages. They descend deeper and deeper. What he discovered was the entrance to a city that had been sealed for centuries. We now call it Derinkuyu. It goes down roughly 280 feet into the earth. 18 confirmed levels. Archaeologists estimate it could hold 20,000 people at full capacity. This wasn't a bunker. It was a fully operational metropolis with livestock stables, schools, and fresh water systems. The engineering is disturbing. Narrow corridors suddenly open into massive communal halls. Circular stone doors, some weighing over 1,000 pounds, were designed to seal from the inside. But Derinkuyu isn't an isolated anomaly. It is actually connected via a cold, narrow, 5-mile-long tunnel to a second massive complex. Kamakli underground city, while Derinkuyu was the stronghold. Makli was the fortress of daily life, built around a central ventilation shaft that acted as the city's lungs. The fact that these 2 massive cities were physically linked underground suggests a much larger network than we ever imagined. But why build this? The standard history books tell us it was a refuge for early Christians hiding from Roman or Arab persecution. That is likely true for the later years. But the origins might be far older and stranger. Many scholars now point to the ancient texts of Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest religions. In the Vendidad, the deity Ahura Mazda warns the mythical King Yima of a coming catastrophe, not a flood, but a fatal freezing winter. He is instructed to build a vara, a multi-level underground enclosure, to protect the seeds of life. The layout of Derinkuyu matches this Zoroastrian blueprint almost perfectly. It wasn't just a hiding spot from armies. It may have been an ancient ark designed to survive a climate apocalypse. Whether it was Christians fleeing swords or Zoroastrians fleeing a fatal winter, the intent was the same: absolute separation from the surface world. And even now, parts of it remain closed. Passages are still blocked. Archaeologists suspect there are deeper levels that were never mapped. If the legends are true, Derinkuyu and Kamakli are just the entrances to a subcontinent buried in the dark. If Turkey's tunnels were built for survival, Mexico's tunnels were built for death. Under the ruins of Teotihuacan once, a city of over 100,000 people, lies a secret that remained hidden for nearly 2,000 years. In 2003, heavy rains opened a sinkhole near the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Archaeologist Sergio Gomez descended into the pit and found a tunnel that had been deliberately filled with soil and sealed by massive stones. When they finally excavated the passage, they realized this wasn't just a hallway, it was a physical simulation of the cosmos. The tunnel walls were coated with crushed pyrite and hematite. When the archaeologists shined their lights, the walls exploded with sparkles, mimicking a starry sky in the pitch black. But at the end of the tunnel, 300 feet down, lay the most baffling discovery: chambers filled with pools of liquid mercury. Why liquid mercury? It's toxic, rare, and difficult to mine. To understand this, we have to understand Mictlan. In Aztec and Mesoamerican mythology, Mictlan is the underworld. To reach it, the soul must traverse 9 dangerous levels. One of the final obstacles is crossing a river of blood or water to reach the land of the dead. Experts now believe the Mercury pools represented these supernatural lakes. The tunnel was a theater. High priests would consume hallucinogens and descend into this shimmering, star-filled void to physically walk the path of Mictlan without dying. Inside these chambers, they found thousands of offerings, jade statues, rubber balls, and strange figurines, but the duality is what's terrifying. Above ground, Teotihuacan was a rigid, orderly city of pyramids, reaching for the sun. Below ground, they engineered a chaotic, glittering underworld of liquid metal and darkness. The builders of Teotihuacan didn't just believe in the underworld. They had the engineering prowess to build it. They recreated the geography of hell beneath their own feet. In Turkey, they hid bodies. In Mexico, they simulated death. But in Peru, at Chavin de Huantar, the underground was used to break the human mind. Chavin was a ceremonial center high in the Andes. Peaking around 900 BC beneath its temples lies a labyrinth of narrow tunnels called galleries. For decades, archaeologists were confused by the strange architecture ducts that channeled water to create roaring sounds and air vents positioned to manipulate airflow. It turns out the entire underground complex is a psychoacoustic machine. In these galleries, researchers discovered caches of Strombas shells, massive conch shells imported from the warm waters of Ecuador, hundreds of miles away. These weren't just decorations, they were trumpets. When played inside the stone labyrinth, the specific frequency of the Strombas creates a resonance that vibrates the human chest cavity. The stone walls were tuned to amplify this sound, making it feel like the roar of a jaguar was coming from inside your own head. But sound was only half the weapon. Carvings found at the site show figures holding a specific plant, the Echinopsis pachonoi, also known as the San Pedro cactus. This cactus is rich in mescaline, a potent psychedelic. Combining the archaeological evidence, a terrifying picture emerges. Initiates would ingest the Echinopsis pachonoi, entering a highly suggestible hallucinogenic state. They were then led into the pitch-black tunnels. Priests would use the hydraulic ducts to mimic rushing water and blow the Strombas shells to create a bone-shaking roar. Disoriented by the drugs and terrified by the acoustics, the initiate's reality would shatter. The tunnels weren't a place to live. They were a technology designed to force a religious experience. A place where the priests controlled your perception of reality through chemistry and engineering. Meanwhile, halfway across the world in China, the Longyu Caves present a different kind of mystery. Discovered in 1992, these massive hand-carved caverns displace 1 million cubic meters of stone. Yet, unlike Chavin or Derinkuyu, there are no religious texts, no acoustic trumpets, no records of their construction. Just massive, empty halls carved with impossible precision, sitting in silence. Underground has always been where humanity hides what matters most. Whether it's the Zoroastrian Ark of Derinkuyu and chimakly designed to outlast an apocalypse, the liquid mercury rivers of Mictlan beneath Mexico, or the hallucinogenic, acoustic torture chambers of Chavin using Strombas shells and Echinopsis pachonoi, the pattern is undeniable. Advanced civilizations didn't just dig holes, they built complex, functional worlds beneath the surface. They sealed them, they hid them. The question isn't just how they did it, it's what were they preparing for? Were they hiding from a physical enemy? Or were they trying to access a spiritual reality that required total darkness? These are just the ones we've found. What else are we standing on top of right now? If this journey into the dark unsettled you, hit that like button and tell me in the comments which theory scares you more, the survival bunker or the ritual machine. Subscribe to The Silent Depth. We are currently researching a site in Malta that might be older than all of these combined. You don't want to miss that. I'll see you in the next one.